Hello, you're listening to the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. My name is Reichen Young, president of the Acting Company for Excellence and host of the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. Today we are talking to Mike Mazur. Mr. Mike is the head of school at the NTPA Academy. He has directed more than 60 shows in New York, New Jersey, Ohio, California, and Texas. Mr. Mike has an MFA in musical theater writing and a bachelor's in English and drama education. He has taught several classes at the NTPA Academy, including script analysis, directing, and college audition prep. Welcome, Mr. Mike.
Glad to be here.
All right, so now we're going to start the questions section of our little podcast. Number 1, you've had a big career before becoming Managing Director of NTPA Plano. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I started, much like you guys, in a youth theater program. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. And from grades 7 through 12, I was very active in that program. I went on to college where I studied theater education and always stayed in touch with them. When I graduated, they invited me to be on staff. I'm sort of like the Lindsay Lederer of that organization, which is still going strong up in Ohio.
Nice.
And then I went on to grad school. I got accepted to NYU for grad school. When I completed that, they invited me to come back and be their artistic director.
Wow.
And so I was really inspired by the journey. Kept bringing me back home, which is something I hope to make NTPA a thing for you guys to keep coming back home to as you grow.
Now, you've had a degree in musical theater writing. What advice would you give students who want to write their own show?
Do it. Do it. Do it. Everyone has a story to tell, and the biggest impediment is we think no one wants to hear our story. I've lived long enough to believe everyone's story is worth telling, even if it's an adaptation of someone else's story from your point of view. Every human being needs to be heard and listened to, and sometimes the best forum is to write it as a play or musical, and then others hear it that way, and they're still hearing your point of view. I encourage anyone, just do it, put pen to paper, and do it.
Amazing. Sorry, that hit me in the heart a little bit. All right. Now, you are head of the school of the NTPA Academy. Why should an aspiring young actor attend the Academy?
Well, I've been really blessed in my own career, performing and writing and directing in both California and New York. Now that I'm here at the Academy, one of my goals is to give people your age something I didn't have when I was your age. And so when I look around this facility, we have 2 black boxes, a thrust, and a proscenium. That alone is something I didn't experience till college. Also, the Academy instructors are so amazing because we don't hire teachers from the world of education. They're professionals from the performing arts who are also excellent educators, but you're getting real world experience. When you're getting advice from Stephanie Hingstenberg, she's one of our teachers. She was formerly the casting director of Holland America Cruise Lines and a manager of the Rockettes. Dee Dee Munson was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader and a Disney princess and is in the movie Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock.
Wow.
When they're talking to you about auditioning for agents, they know what they're talking about. And it's not just what a textbook says, this is how the performing arts work. They're telling you their real life. And our staff is full of people with such professional real-world experience that makes this unique. Added with our facilities, you're going to get the best performing arts education here at the NTPA Academy.
Now, I understand you met Stephen Sondheim, one of the most important figures of musical theater. Tell us about that experience.
It's a great question, and wow. Really hit me this year when he passed. It really hit me hard. I was lucky enough to get to meet him. I was a speaker at an event called the Sondheim Symposium, which was held in New Jersey, really close to New York, in conjunction with the revival of Sunday in the Park with George. Wow. So we all saw the show together, and then we had conferences about Stephen Sondheim and his work. I was specifically there because in my career by that point, I had directed both Into the Woods the Full and Into the Woods Junior.
Wow.
And I was on a panel of educators saying, what is the right age to expose people to the complexities of a master work like Stephen Sondheim's work? And I actually got to ask him personally. He was present at this. He just inspired the whole room. There's people from all over the country at this event, and I got to speak at it. It was also when the movie version of Sweeney Todd came out, and he gave me personally advice, which is this weird random conversation, because in the movie, anyone who knows the show or the movie, they cut most of the choral work from the movie. That was with his design, and when he told me he authorized that, he said he wrote that music to transport you to England when you're in your theater in New York. But if you have a camera in England, don't tell people when you can show them. And that's affected all my work as a director, since you don't always have to spoon feed your audience. You can have them make it experiential for them, and they'll absorb it without always telling them where you are or another day has passed. Assume your audience has the brains to connect the dots. And I think one of the reasons Sondheim still resonates, he was, by the way, the, what did we call it? The artist of the fall spotlight artist. Every class in the academy studied Stephen Sondheim in one way or another while we produced an amazing version of Sweeney Todd last year. But to assume your audience is smart, and that came from him, and clearly he does in his work, but I hope somewhere that trickled down to me, because then the audience leaves thinking they feel like they did some work to earn their share in that applause.
If you could give one piece of advice to the kids who want to pursue theater as a career, what would it be?
Do everything you can in theater. My first professional job was sweeping a stage, back to Sondheim, a production of Merrily We Roll Along. At the end of Act 1, there's a dramatic reveal, dun dun dun, and someone drops a glass and it scatters everywhere. Curtain. It was my job to sweep the stage so it would be safe for everyone else. I was as much a part of that production as the Broadway professionals in New York who were working on it. The first show I wrote that went up in New York, I was also the ticket taker, and I ran the follow spot. As long as you're connected to theater, you're going to feel the energy. There's no job too small. There is no role too small. Don't drop shows, because you can learn something from every experience. And if it's getting coffee for the director or sweeping a stage, the way our industry works, you always feel connected to something larger than yourself, and you can't get that feeling anywhere else. Then the more of those, I've gotten directing jobs because I can program a light board. Because I had to program a light board in a small theater somewhere else.
Yes.
Seize on those experiences, learn from them, and put them on your resume, and you can have a career in this field.
And now, Mr. Mike, is the portion of the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast where we ask every guest the same 5 quick questions. You must answer every question quickly and without explanation. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, and number 1, what was the name of the first show you performed?
Oliver.
What is your favorite show?
Into the Woods.
What is your favorite role?
Jesus in Godspell.
What is your dream role?
Seymour in Little Shop.
What is your favorite candy?
Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, those are my favorite too. They're amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Mike, for talking with us on the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. And until next time, I'm Reichen Young. And remember, you always have a winning hand with an ace up your sleeve. The Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast is brought to you by the students of the Acting Company for Excellence at North Texas Performing Arts. This podcast was created by Reichen Young, with sound design and editing by Latham Young. Faculty supervision is provided by Hannah Brewer. NTPA is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing the character of youth through quality performing arts education and family entertainment. Learn more about upcoming programs and events at ntpa.org.